Ngeleshe, asanteni sana.
Asanteni sana, tafadhali tunaweza keti chini. Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to join you this morning here in Olkaria, Nakuru County to unveil this critical and transformative investment and venture, the Kengen Kaishan Green Ammonia Fertilizer Project. This project stands as a flagship of Kenya's green industrialization transformation, a compelling example of how energy, technology, and vision can converge to drive national prosperity, create opportunities for employment, expand opportunities for jobs and investment, and restore dignity to people. This is a very important event. I have been out of my office for a week. Today, when I landed in my office, I had a full desk with papers and stuff. But this was so important to me that I had to postpone even my trip to Qatar to be able to preside over this function. Many may not know the significance of what we are doing here today. Let me say, for many to understand, this event is historic because of three and many reasons. I'll give you a few. But one, this event represents an investment of $800 million. That is close to 100 billion shillings. It demonstrates confidence in the Republic of Kenya, and it gives us an indication of what investors think about Kenya. When we say we have stabilized our economy, we have brought inflation under control, we have stabilized our exchange rate, and our economy is on sound footing, this is what you get: confidence by investors to put their money in our country. Number two, it is significant because for the first time in the African soil, fertilizer will be produced from ammonia that is coming from green energy. This is the first ever plant in this continent that this is going to happen. We have been in many meetings. Ever since I came into office, I held the Africa Climate Summit to discuss how to balance environment and nature, and to persuade many who do not see how it is possible for us to live in a world that is sustainable and to have energy that does not interfere with nature. Today is a testimony that green energy is not only sustainable, but it is possible to power our energy needs using green energy. And number three, this event is significant because it speaks to the heart of our nation, and that is farming. And I speak so passionately as a farmer myself that we will now have fertilizer that is not imported. For record, we spend close to 80 billion shillings every year to import fertilizer to Kenya. This plant will now generate fertilizer from our own geothermal resources, using local products, using local raw materials, local energy, local human capital, and 480 metric tons is close to 9.2 million 50 kilogram bags of fertilizer. That means that not only will farmers have a reliable supply of fertilizer that is not predicated on events elsewhere in the world, whether we have war in Europe or elsewhere, we will not have trouble with logistics. But much more importantly, it's going to save us on our foreign exchange. We will not be using our foreign exchange to import fertilizer. We will be producing fertilizer from our own resources. And therefore, this is a very significant investment and a very significant project for Kenya. It is also important for us to know that while I have pursued the chairman, we were supposed to do this with a different company called FFI, but they let us down. But when I discussed with the chairman of Keshan, and he offered to step in, I have been on this project for the last 2.5 years. I think I have had countless meetings in my office. My good friend, the former CEO of GDC there, who is now an advisor in my office, has been working with me and my economic team to see how we can bring this to fruition. And so I am very, very proud this moment. This morning is a great morning for Kenya and for those of us who are farmers. I am making the first order of 5,000 bags of fertilizer. The first fertilizer I will be the one to use in my farm. Because for decades, farmers, who are the cornerstone of our nation, have borne the burden of unpredictable fertilizer prices, supply shocks, and global volatility. These challenges have inflated food costs, reduced yields, and strained household incomes. In 2023 alone, Kenya imported more than 600 metric tons of fertilizer at a cost of close to 80 billion shillings. In just the first half of 2025, we have imported 443 tons of fertilizer worth nearly 60 billion. That is between January and now. Each shipment represents a cost to our national treasury and to our dollar reserves, and a lost opportunity for young people in Kenya. This government is determined to change that reality, and today's event marks a decisive step towards self-sufficiency and resilience in fertilizer production. The Kenyan Kaishan Green Fertilizer Plant will produce, as I have said, 480 metric tons of fertilizer every year, guaranteeing farmers a steady and affordable supply. It will shield our economy from global price shocks, strengthen food security, and save the country's valuable foreign exchange reserves that can be now redirected to other national priorities. From deep beneath the Rift Valley flows one of our greatest industrial treasures, the geothermal steel. Kenya holds an estimated 10,000 megawatts of geothermal potential, yet we have harnessed just less than 10,000 or 10%, which is 1,000 megawatts. Kenya's leadership in geothermal energy gives us a unique advantage to power green industries sustainably. This project will tap 165 megawatts of geothermal power to synthesize green ammonia and convert it into fertilizer, the first project of its kind in Africa. Beyond fertilizer production, this venture will prevent more than 600 tons of carbon dioxide emission every year, equivalent to getting 130,000 internal combustion engine cars off the road. At the same time, it will create more than 1,000 jobs, offering opportunities for our young people and local communities. It will also nurture a new generation of geothermal engineers, hydrogen experts, process operators, and innovators in many fields, the pioneers who will power Africa's green industrialization future. Beyond its environmental and social impact, this project is also a sound commercial investment. With a total investment value of $800 million, it is projected to generate more than 13 million US dollars, that is 1.7 billion Kenya shillings in annual profits to KenGen, while opening new frontiers for carbon credit generation and trading under international climate mechanisms. Around the world, markets are rewarding sustainability. Green fertilizer will give Kenyan exports a competitive edge, open new markets for our agribusinesses, and strengthen our position in global value chains. Kenya is proud to lead Africa in proving that green innovation is both profitable and sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all appreciate, investments in energy are among the most capital-intensive ventures any nation can undertake. Expanding generation, transmission, and distribution requires massive upfront resources, yet it remains the foundation of every thriving economy. Without affordable and reliable power, there cannot be true industrialization, no thriving enterprise, and no inclusive prosperity. That is why we must pursue innovative and sustainable pathways to expand our national energy capacity. Kenya cannot realize her industrial and development aspirations on the current installed capacity of 2,300 megawatts. To power our ambition in manufacturing, mining, agriculture, infrastructure, and digital innovation, we must think bigger, move faster, and invest smarter. As government, we have therefore set out an ambitious target to increase our national energy capacity to at least 10,000 megawatts in the next decade. Achieving this goal will demand bold partnerships, creative financing, and strategic foresight. It is the reason why we are not only giving priority to public-private partnerships, such as the one we launched here today, but also establishing a national infrastructure fund to mobilize long-term blended capital for transformative projects, not only in energy, but also in transport, in our airports, in roads, in our dams, and other critical enablers of growth. As we expand our energy base, we are also transforming how we manage water and food security. We must be a nation that dreams boldly and executes decisively. Our target is to build 50 new mega dams across the country, bringing at least 2.5 million acres of land under irrigation to secure our food supply, boost agricultural productivity, and expand our agricultural exports. We cannot claim to be a food secure nation while still depending on rain-fed agriculture. Expanded irrigation will enable us to cut our current food import bill, now standing at Kenya shillings 500 billion shillings annually, and redirect those resources to finance our national transformation agenda. At the same time, we must expand our road network. And speaking about what I have said here, the Member of Parliament who represents the next constituency here, on behalf of the other leaders from this region, it is our intention that as we expand the job opportunities that will be found in this KenGen, as was said by KenGen management, they will involve the local community here in making sure that the young people that come from this area become part and parcel of the workforce that will drive this great investment. Let me also say that as we expand our generation from geothermal, I'm very happy that there's a lot of expertise that has been built at KenGen on dam construction. As we do the 50 megawatt mega dams, we should be able to generate an extra 2,000 megawatts of energy and also store enough water to irrigate 2.5 million acres of land. Because at the moment, the land under production in rain-fed agriculture is almost depleted. And therefore, the only potential that exists for us to generate and produce more food and stop importing food to Kenya is to go irrigation. Irrigation, therefore, requires us to store water and to also make sure that we generate energy using that water as we use it for irrigation. And therefore, I am looking forward to working with the leaders in this space, members of parliament, both at the National Assembly and the Senate, as we push the new initiative that will give us an infrastructure fund that is going to work with the private sector. We all realize that unless we leverage the private sector, we will not have enough resources to drive our transformation. But if we work with the private sector, like in this particular case, Keshan is investing $800 million. That is 100 billion shillings. That is not our money. That is not in the balance sheet of the Kenya government. It is private sector money. But how are we connecting the dots? We are giving them a power purchase agreement. We are going to give them a fertilizer purchase agreement that is going to support this investment. The National Infrastructure Fund will be able to be the fulcrum where we can structure more investments, leveraging on public resources, public assets, to leverage private sector resources to be able to implement public projects. Just here in Naivasha, this month, I will be coming to launch the road from Rironi to Mau Summit. It is going to cost anywhere between 170 and 200 billion. Again, it is not public money. How are we leveraging the private sector? This is private sector money. We are going to give them a concession agreement that is going to generate resources for them to repay their investment. And this is the kind of innovation and creativity that we need in the public sector for us to use public assets, public resources to leverage 3, 4, 5 times private sector resources to be able to drive our transformation. It is no longer possible for us to borrow money to build a road like the one we are going to build here from Rironi to Mau Summit. If we were to borrow 200 billion shillings, we would have to close our books and do nothing else. So it is important for us to know, how are we going to think outside the box? We need to be strategic, we need to be innovative, and we need to be agile in how we leverage the resources that we have. And that is why I am determined that our country has tremendous potential, and we've always talked about it, but we haven't actualized because there has not been enough strategic thinking, enough creative and innovative investments to be able to unlock the great potential that the country is. And that is why I insist that Kenya is a third world country by mistake. And we owe it to the people of Kenya to get Kenya to the right place. Kenya is supposed to be among the first world countries. And we can do it in our lifetime if we are strategic, if we are innovative, and if we can think outside the box. And therefore, I am very confident that this investment energizes our resolve of transforming Kenya to that great nation that it should be. When I say that we should expand, and this is the plan that I'm going to lay out to the people of Kenya, that we should have at least a minimum of 1,000 kilometers of dual carriageway tolled so that we can have enough superhighways in Kenya. I have instructed the Ministry of Roads to work on the first 10,000 kilometers priority list and another 10,000 kilometers phase 2, so that instead of haggling about 2 kilometers here, 10 kilometers there, 20 kilometers here, and we are scrambling and there is negative competition, we should be bold and do between 10 and 20,000 kilometers so that we can connect every part of Kenya and make every region believe that they belong to one great nation called Kenya. At the same time, I will be, and I'm happy that the members of parliament are here. When you go back to parliament, you will find on your desk a proposal from me on sovereign wealth fund and national infrastructure fund, because that is how we are going to move Kenya from a third world country to a first world country. I remember the other day when I said we need about 4 trillion shillings to be able to do our roads, to be able to do 10,000 kilometers of 10,000 megawatts of energy, and to be able to do 2.5 million acres of irrigation. Many people think that 4 trillion shillings is not feasible. If this project alone is 100 billion, 4 trillion is just around the corner. And I'm going to show you how we are going to get 4 trillion and transform this nation. Already, as I talk to you, I remember when I was in Ethiopia, and I mentioned that we have signed contracts of $4 billion under our housing program. Many people question the statistics. I want to repeat. Let me put it in Kenya shillings. $4 billion is roughly close to beyond 500 billion Kenya shillings, almost 600. That is the contracts we have signed in our housing, in our markets, in our hostels. And we have done it using our own resources. We have not borrowed a shilling from anybody. That is how you transform a nation. And that is how we're going to move Kenya from a third world country to a first world country in our lifetime, by doing the innovative stuff, by working with creativity, by having strategic foresight. I welcome all leaders. I'm happy members of parliament are here, and every other Kenyan, that we're going to work together. This is the scale of our ambition and the measure of our determination to build a modern, food secure nation supported by world-class infrastructure that powers opportunity and prosperity for every Kenyan. Together, we are called upon to dream boldly, act decisively, and deliver a future of shared prosperity. One of the presidents of the United States said, leaders are measured by the vision they have and the price they are willing to pay for its achievement. I want to challenge every leader in Kenya that the vision we have for our nation, we must be willing to pay the price for its achievement. Thank you very much. My very best wishes to Keishan and Kenjen. I look forward to coming here in 2027 in April to open the plant, and I look forward to your supply of fertilizer in August, as you have told me. I want to be the first farmer to use green fertilizer from our own resources. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
One more round of applause for His Excellency's wonderful speech. May I request that we take our seats briefly? Your Excellency, we have some gifts for you. Let's take our seats, please. Kindly, let's take our seats. And the first gift is from Kengen. So let me invite the MD and CEO, Engineer Peter Njenga, to present the gift. Naomba tafadhali tuketi. Hebu tuketi kidogo tafadhali. Tuketi. Tuketi.
Asanteni sana. Wananchi wa hapa wanasema hawajapata stima. Very good. Sasa wewe waziri, kabla hujatoka hapa ukubaliane na hawa wananchi. Getini tu, getini chini. Utakubaliana na hawa wananchi vile watapata stima. Si ndio? Si nyinyi ndio mnatusaidia kupata stima Kenya mzima? Na si nyama ikichinjwa iko na ya wale wa kuchinja nyumbani pale. So waziri and your peers, I want you to work with the community around here. I know some houses, kuna manyumba zingine zimepata, lakini hao wananchi wanasema hawajapata stima ya kutosha. Ni namna hiyo. Na vile vile tuunganishe barabara ile ya kutoka hapa, tuunganishe mpaka ishikane na ile barabara ya kwenda Narok. Ndio hawa wananchi tafuatilia, ndio tuhakikisha kwamba dunia hiyo inasonga. Ni sawa hivyo? Ni sawa hivyo? Bas. Ati? Aya, asante sana. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
MD, kindly, if you can come and present the gift, and then let's have the second one. But the first one presented by MD and CEO Peter.
Kanisa kikiba teja ininyo mi marwete barabara ni ubunni agni nak chuna lak chun mi marwete lago ne ngalo lusunyu kigiso miseni mi marwete leje bijoto washinto kabisa na ujinga sana ndeti akutinga lole yitelen mirwete ndeni sijuke yono yibinyiti kuti tilen achek nandiegi kulene gejik lene chitap kon lene psigisie lene ngongyo kumagoberberi tunandiegi Kitelel kabisa kilaj nakatile na chekon mi araburto ko sukumani golen ungium Kenya nini magamaje ukapela kinyone mjinga atinyo kinyele o mi ne bunu siju anonyu siju ne bunu ngwana kale jingo rok lawo kitinyo ko joget kalya me biedi kamela me biedi ne anangona ko muon ko legi kisikeni ngo ibwatile ko je ko beshe mugumuite ginene lang pa lawo ko ngi biso anane kariya kitelelen jaba DNA kalya mi bitabune DNA jogu gorok sinak taiwe jaba jitagenyo anane mreju une ngisi tati ngewani onge du kya jibisu ati nyinyi kuti tagilen he sijui kiya na sijui mirgwiti de na sijui sikisi de na he sijui ne no mapsana ndit angira na to ngololi ko mugul lemindit kabisa ne makanya kot mirgwiti ne gengel ba kuti tabu bunu ya gole agengel le bunu yo ne agnye ne mengen ge goro aginyi ti kuti tilen ne so kam jale ja kishan wak pikap kap sarit matishan ji ai be shit ate jagani zoshek ata seta jatul ja mami ma sasa ne jita juagale no ne ja ki ko dorta mungu ngeta ge un nye tisana jita ne metu age nguya inye te sungu kan duya ata ibia mie tak sugoma musik ibiru iser Facebook ni mutu mujinga. That's why amaje biga agyam ngai wak ungi mungu onge bel rate akwa bye missing amu king ngete 2017 ko gele jo jane ko wild rate sai el rate ki tinye biga kotit yiwi nal dangore kumi kitab kotit inyo boda kumi kitab kotit inyo na sole kweni kumi kitab kotit ngale hata jigi meje you know tu mungu amat kuli jo kini ginya ako ndanyo na lemina ngom ako nyogo tuchitu ako chite ako much kwegi kile jini karibu ya ni yala jina ge na got ken pije parakyu je metoyu magbal jin ma jorop ke walda ngwe nyu yalda bilbili nyo walda goro ita nyo yalda nyo kot kenam lain anane nyi ya so environment kita setai awo sama en kita ni ko jabo Thomas kinyu Thomas ni Amu ko tatinye chepkondok ab empowerment kidogo. Tatinye chepkondok ab empowerment. So ngal ji cheptingitit samu ka ako som. Mauna tanye ako anga moy kwa kitaga. Mat ko chito ngat kong. Chitoret chito omwa haleluya. Sa ko ini awnyor Nissan ak bigishek. Sa ko ini awnyor Nissan ak bigishek. Jabane. Kumaji isomile. Alyon sa alia ko tayo tune ko tayo tiji ko tkenyuru. You know? Kiso jigay. Kiso jigay ang kaya patient na baman. Ako matipor yeshik manda mana. You know? Agad ako talaga buljinen kapiyanga. Wala no kapiyanga. Go majo bulji kapiyanga buljane det. Mamigi na kapiyanga na mamu aji. Ati nyang na jajuk chaba yu chaba lose kapiyanga. Magane ama ay nafas na ngimi ay kasi. Kumiyagi na go bigay kasi nyo. Kung kami makasa na kapiyanga mo ojo mo agad sara kabishan. Lakini mo jaglen kiyo buljat kinye on bigararan mo simyo lakini on ano mo naman hasa kiyo mutai ke on ni mutukun goyin kya no yo. Kalyam mo ngere kabishan kya gityo kya mo gele awale linyo ngiyo jiga chulia ko lagyo anani bigya to smo jeli jama mi gini kwena kararan so ngi mati borit ako ngi jam ako kinga sa me gura jabunu kanisa akabunu laok chik somiseni akabunu no ako tu sa me gura chualakchu me jo ngoji uleje magsama gura yatak le gaba sanandi magiu mi jana ekteminyo eni jengorengu petpetoreng nagararan na lapke na gile chichi ko lapke tai mono tanye kinga nyone kono ma boisek kidogo kono ma kijana kijang kono ma jibiusuk tukul me mo man sinye ugindo en kasumbet boisek ju goleni ibano en jijini ko melen kitinye makosa boisek ju kindo right because jawaman si jabunu no nyawa jawaman matnya telia matnya mbar kita kanyu chalo ma janga jaret tiba boisek lu bano jiji lakini kumata ibishana kia telelinyo akai besit kapsa namutang kawin diga nya mwau nyige mwai ngwanjan ai nyige kapsa tu ka so samunyu sinyale ja kapsa ko kapsa atege mwala kia ini anane mauna tanye ya so kami jale jago ngai mesen mama jata mo siriat lakini kita nama ja kishanwa mamichi na tishena wala smai gasi mo ngere bi jango lele mo mesima meta melia mami ingen le jang bi yo tamane gasi tinyu so len kalia so dis to kuinda tu ayun so wala ma jege distractana kula sisi mawe ndo tusige kitu wije kitu ambia watu wakwenda kabisa. Tutaendelea kufanya kazi leo, kesho kutwa, mwezi ujao, next year, after next year, mpaka huko mbele huko tutaendelea kufanya kazi. Miten kanishojek chumi yagole. Akjigi teje to magetar. Kitare jota tool. Ngata managi. Kya te kanishojek sinye karibu 200 kapsari. 200. Aja mwaje chani yele 200. Surely. Mje tebe buni juile ki o tej ni biju. Mje tebe kya teje suguli shek ngaba mali kum kuraru maret. Aku ni jebesi TF atasi ajo. Awe mali kamnyanji mi bilita 2 million. Agalen recently kikin bilit na bayin kap kaga ni klene. Kap Thomas nyo ki million tamanang ne. 18 million. Ugilia family ko laban 8. Ali a korkoran nyo jeng joro no gut ke laban million taman. Kikitinya gang nyo kitinya million ay million ata kurutu jungala lus nyui. Ku yetus ku jungala lus ku petay na inik. Mirgo tindeni. Sijui neni. Wajinga. Majote be bijoto li. Kyo ai ni ai. Yani gingololi ki muji ai ni. You know? So, amja sama win. Otelisha. Otelti tulisha. Tafadhali. Yero ngete ke telisha ko kungun pariyata ben arambe na bane. Na bain na bamugonjwe. Nene tuolio agot ngitnya bil tap 2 million. Ibato alban shamia nane. Ke elia nyo ke alban junala. Lakini kule beding tayo kule benisha kila kitu. Amuta sekse laura bishaka absha. So jitu kul ungetelisha. So boda mjo torto mo kwek chu o muti pik chang barabara ongololji pik chok kapseret inegei kotikitinye shortage mi kijanek chechang ak pik chematinye ID matinye kurayat kimeche kapsa ketil kurayat kutindoi chitul kurayani sinyap kebe kurayani kibendi ongen is ole emeni nageni mogere ole tostotai ngalek of course kieta kengolin lakini kimeche kemeken sure kele tindoi chitul ne tindoi chitul kurayat tindoi chitul kurayat so mamache amwa ngalek chechang wapi huyu mtu nimwonesha hapa anaitwa ongen jita najam koleni wa Kenya mnasema 2 term ukiwa wapi ongen jijata wapi mother flash mother salamia watu wangu Kapseret kwa dakika moja tu.
Unasema tu tamu ukiwa pande gani? Wa Kenya, nashukuru sana. Leo tunasema tu tamu tukiwa Kapseret. Sisi tunatoka Murima. Na Murima mayatima tuko wengi ambayo tumetoroka kwa sababu viongozi wetu wengi ni matapeli na makonman, tukarudi kwa baba yetu. Na tuko wengi sana na baba yetu. Na ile kitu ambayo mimi nawaambia na nimeona maajabu sana hapa Kapseret. Ile mambo imefanyika hapa na nimezunguka Kenya mzima. Hakuna maajabu kama yenye imefanyika hapa. Msituangushe watu wa Kapseret. Msituangushe. Tukitafuta kura ya huko Murima, tukidili na hii mwendo wazimu yetu ya huko Murima, hapa tusikuje kutafuta kura. Ni kweli? Ni kweli? Nipeleke salamu Murima. Next time sikuji peke yangu, naleta mayatima yote ya Murima. Tunakuja hapa kwa baba yetu. Asante sana boss.
Ngoni yake. Ko Ken, konacha wapi Ken? Konacha. Ujaba. Pia na bamusalia mudabadi. Nganyishik kanje chang ko ngeta wa Nairobi. Apo Kapseret. Poka pe ne jabya kwayo. Maona hii? Ya jabya kwayo airport bitana kole.
Chamge. Sasa wacha niwaambie nyinyi story nyingine. Unajua huyu mheshimiwa yenu ni rafiki yangu ya zamani sana. Unajua mimi nilikuanga chief officer hapa wa Sengishu physical planning. Wanasemanga Oscar ni mtu wa ukabila, hiyo ni uongo. Kwa sababu yeye ndio alinipeleka kwa Mandagor, kaambia Mandagor andike hii kijana kura kazi. Mimi ni Maragoli kutoka huko Sabatia, Yiga. Sasa hiyo ni mtu wa kabila kweli? Sasa mimi niko na Oscar, tumekuwa rafiki tangu zamani. Mimi ninaishi hapa Kapseret hapa nyumbani. Mimi support yeye paka mwisho. Unaelewa? Sasa ile heshima mtapatia sisi ni ku make sure Oscar Sudi abaki hapo, na nafikiri apende juu kidogo. Sasa MP ametosheka na hapo. Sasa nafikiri tuangalie kama inaweza kuwa governor. Ama unasemaje? Bado governor? Sawa. Asanteni, tuko pamoja na karibu nyumbani siku yoyote. Mungu awabariki. Kongoi.
Kongoi Ken Onacha. Ongen ole kikole jago magumwa ngale kijangana ne. Mitang tu jigete sinyin Kapseret ni. Akwa pika boda boda mijini yi ko ngeten amaje ko re jigete jinyu mijini yi onam. Mamia kota kenge. Aku kilomita pesa kidogo. Ha? Kota msigiri watch. Wase? Amaje kila station na boda boda. Majaliwa Mwenyezi Mungu next year. Kamaje gebe kita nugure long term. Ha? Amaje kita nugwendi kapsa na tuna kot kage usigitu ajeget. E banda na nyuni. Ki buati geleni yi kita gelia. Sako chu kwakchu. Agrubishe kwakchu. Amaje stun ke alji kori kaya kila sako. Kori kila sako. Ekaze. Nangetung sako. Ona tanya. Ya, jana at least sikit ni gini kile jeme jam jeb kundu chikin dalal. Jeb kundu ko majeng ko tini ke jangan ko lelo ke alki. Ke liang nyo ke alki yana nenye. Ya, amaje yani sikit ni alamet ni kile ngabsa. Akot Kapseret boda ko ki kwal gorik taman. Ana nenye. Kata banaki. Kota lu ko gori ya tale ban deposit. Mana kota setai? Eh? Ini deposit boleh mingalegs. Ya, yani ya lebat deposit. Cuma lagi lebih million mut ngarau. 5,000 kan imagine. Ako lebih ni guna ta kung ngetua kau tentayu. Ya. So amnya sigir watch kira tu ceke so at least gitu nya in kari. Kita je free economic zone new. Itu selesai. mi 70% tesetai eng yo. Kwanyoru chepkondok chebo areng. So mwachini cho some kura ilechini kimoche chito nemuchu ak chamwoiwo kalecha mekwai chi nebo ujuzi kidogo. Kwai network mekwai akot ngalek alak yani cheng chito nendo network nemuch koit yun koit ngalek alak eu. Lakini ingekwai chito neimutige eng yu mutai kai kale sawa kabisa and then after that kwaak ne. Kori cho kitinye eng yo noton kamwoiwo kitinye economic zone nekit koborok. Kanyoru chepkondokab wareng. Obo bodaboda akaobwa isi. Aobwa akaotelele boisiet anan ni. Maunoto nye. Kocham kochebe siling atang betut. Highest ya memwa lamba chek.